Here's another ripped from the headlines video. A couple of weeks ago, AT&T lost the ability to route phone calls placed on the cell phone network. For hours and hours. I'm Marcos O'Rourke, a 20-plus year broadcast engineer who spent most of that time in the Los Angeles area. And using a cell phone has been a really important part of my career. So this outage started around 4 a.m. Eastern Time and continued for several more hours, sometimes most of the day. This didn't just impact people who were calling each other for fun, but it impacted the ability to call 911. It even impacted the FirstNet system that AT&T built and managed. And if you're not familiar with FirstNet, I'll talk about that separately, but basically, it's a cell phone network built for first responders. The outage lasted so long that even some fire departments told people on social media that they needed to use a landline to call 911. Well, that's all fine and dandy until you realize that AT&T, not that long before this incident, had asked the California Public Utilities Commission to no longer be the carrier of last resort. Basically, that means AT&T will abandon the copper landline systems that we've come to depend on for so long. Granted, most people have moved over to cellular phone technology for all of their calling needs, but in cases like what we saw with this failure, there are no landlines to fall back on. But Marcos, what about those services like Vonage, RingCentral, or the like? Those are landlines, right? Not exactly. So let's diverge for a moment about the state of telephones today. Almost every single phone call you make now is converted to packets of data and routed around the internet, just like the packets serving you this video right now. Phone packets get a little bit more priority because they have to be near real-time delivery. Otherwise, having that phone call conversation gets really frustrating with the delay. Side story, I remember being on a summertime missions trip to the country of Hungary back in the 1990s. I called home to tell my parents I was still alive, and I remember there being a significant delay, and it made the conversation a little bit more difficult. Now that all of our phone traffic is data packets on the internet, we prioritize them so they get there within a certain time. That's basically how cell phones are working. Your phone is basically on Wi-Fi instead of a cable, but it's still chopping up your voice into packets of data and sending them along their way. Hi, I'm going to take a moment here and recognize the sponsor of today's video, LinkUp Communications. When your content has to get to your audience, you can count on their content distribution using XDS and other industry-leading platforms. LinkUp has provided distribution solutions with the highest degree of reliability for over 3 decades. They bring old-school network experience to your products. Well, I guess I could say we, since I do work there. So we are having a contest. It's the LinkUp Show Us Your XDS Receivers contest. You can enter for a chance to win each week, a chance to win bigger each month, and a chance to win huge at the end of the contest by scoring a grand prize worth $500. So, how do you enter? It's simple. Take a photo of the rack of XDS receivers at your radio station and send it to mark@linkupcommunications.com with your name, your title, your station call letters, and where you are located, and how many XDS receivers we'd find at your station. The contest begins Wednesday, February 21st, 2024 at 1 p.m. Eastern and runs through May 1st, 1 p.m. Eastern. Winners will be announced on Facebook and directly notified using the contact info you provided. Full rules and details are available at linkupcommunications.com/contest. And now, back to the video. If you haven't heard, the AT&T failure was caused by a software update. And that's why we tell people don't do the software updates for mission-critical systems, especially if they're within the firewall. But anyways, it took a while for them to troubleshoot and probably roll back the software update. But remember, they all go through basically the same network systems. So how easy would it be to make a mistake with the software update and now no traffic can move, not landline or cell. How do we bring this back into the world of broadcasting? Well, the most basic way that we learn of breaking news in radio is by a reporter calling in and giving an update to someone in the newsroom. Live reports from the field are usually brought in using cellular modems. Your phone probably has a hotspot built in. Many times, TV news, the video you see from a news anchor on TV, is delivered back to the station or the network via cellular modems. Very rarely nowadays is it done by satellite. I've even seen some reporters using iPhones with custom software that sends it back to the studio for someone to edit down. Usually, bigger broadcasters will have alternate means of communication like RPU links, two-way radios, satellite phones, etc., etc., etc. But that's for the radio station. Now that leaves you, the listener or viewer, still stuck without a way to get news and information, unless you're listening to radio or watching over-the-air TV. I grew up in a part of the country that was prone to earthquakes. Knowing what is going on and getting information was best done by way of radio. That's because phone lines were down or broken or overwhelmed because everyone was calling simultaneously. And if you're old enough, you'll remember when the announcement said, "Keep the phone lines clear for emergencies." So, what's the ultimate point of this video? I don't see radio going anywhere in the near future. Radio will be here for a long time. It may change a bit to stay with the times, but it will still be around. And it is still an important part of the emergency information. It is still part of news delivery and dissemination, and a good way to get information of what's going on around the country, around the world, or around your city or your region. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being a part of this channel. And hopefully there's no more breaking, ripped from the headline stuff for next week. There is some good stuff coming. I'm working on it. All right. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning.